Listen closely, because what I'm about to tell you will shift everything you thought you knew about your bloodline. Right now, at this very moment, you're carrying something that wasn't yours to carry. A weight that's been passed down through your family tree like a poison in the roots. And you felt it your entire life without knowing what it was. That heaviness, that pattern of doors closing just when you're about to walk through them. That cycle of struggle that seems to follow your family like a shadow. It's not coincidence. It's not bad luck. It's not your fault. It's a generational curse, and you're the one chosen to break it forever. You've always been different from the rest of your family. You felt it even as a child. That strange knowing that you didn't quite fit the mold everyone else seemed comfortable in. While others accepted the patterns, the limitations, the repeated cycles of pain and loss, something inside you refused. Something deeper than logic, stronger than fear, kept whispering that this wasn't how your story was meant to end. And that voice, that relentless inner knowing, that's not rebellion. That's recognition. Your soul remembering why it came here, what it was born to accomplish. You weren't just born into this family. You were strategically placed here to be the one who ends what's been destroying your bloodline for generations. They don't talk about it openly, but you've seen the evidence everywhere. The same financial struggles repeating in every generation, no matter how hard anyone works. The pattern of broken relationships, marriages that crumble, trust that shatters. The health issues that seem to run in the family. Not just genetic, but something deeper, something that feels almost intentional. The dreams that die before they're fully born. The potential that never quite manifests. The success that always stays just out of reach. These aren't random occurrences. These are symptoms of something planted long ago. Something designed to keep your entire bloodline in chains. And the people who did this, they knew exactly what they were doing. But here's what they didn't count on. They didn't count on you. They couldn't have predicted that one soul would be born into this lineage with the strength, the clarity, and the sheer stubborn refusal to accept what's been handed down. Every curse has an expiration date, and that date is written in the arrival of the one who can see it, name it, and destroy it completely. You're not just living your life. You're ending a war that started before you were born. And the moment you fully understand this, the moment you accept what you've been chosen to do, everything changes. Not just for you, but for everyone who comes after you. Your children, their children, generations you'll never meet, will live free because of what you're about to do right now. Let's talk about how this started, because understanding the origin gives you power over the ending. Somewhere in your family's history, someone made an enemy of the wrong person. It could have been decades ago, could have been centuries, depending on your lineage. Maybe it was jealousy, maybe it was betrayal, maybe it was simply someone who had access to knowledge most people don't understand and decided to use it for destruction instead of creation. They placed something on your bloodline, spoke words with intention, performed actions designed to ensure that your family would struggle, would suffer, would never rise to their full potential. And that energy, once set in motion, became a living thing that fed on every generation that came after. Your ancestors felt it, but didn't know what to call it. They worked harder than everyone around them, but somehow ended up with less. They tried to build, to grow, to create stability, but something always came and knocked it down. Opportunities that seemed certain would mysteriously fall apart. Relationships that should have lasted would inexplicably crumble. Money would come in and then vanish. Through unexpected emergencies, through betrayal, through circumstances that felt orchestrated by an invisible hand. And because they couldn't see the curse, couldn't name it, they internalized it. They started believing they were the problem, that something was inherently wrong with them, that they were cursed by their own inadequacy. And that belief, that internalization, made the curse even stronger. You inherited all of it, the struggle, the pattern, the weight. But you also inherited something they didn't have. You inherited awareness. You're living in a time when information about energy, about generational patterns, about curses, how they operate is available in ways it never was before. You're able to see what they couldn't see, name what they couldn't name, and most importantly, you have access to the knowledge of how to break what was never meant to be permanent. The people who cursed your family wanted it to last forever. But here's the truth they tried to hide. Every curse can be broken by the one who has the courage to stand in their power and say enough. And that person, chosen one, is you. The curse manifested differently in each generation, adapting like a virus, finding new ways to drain the life force from your bloodline. In one generation, it showed up as poverty and loss. In another, it was mental anguish and emotional torment. In another, it was physical illness and early death. It knew how to shape-shift, how to disguise itself, how to make each generation think their suffering was unique to them. But you see the pattern now. You see the common thread running through all of it. And the moment you see it, the moment you recognize it for what it is, you gain power over it. Because the curse relies on invisibility. It needs to stay hidden in order to maintain its grip. And you just ripped off its mask. How do you know you're the one chosen to break this curse? Let's talk about the signs, because they've been showing up your entire life. First, you've always felt like you don't belong in your own family. Not in a superficial way, but in a deep, soul-level way. You look at the patterns, everyone else accepts it. Something inside you screams no. You watch family members repeat the same mistakes, make the same choices, fall into the same traps. And you can't understand why they can't see it. That frustration, that sense of being the only one awake in a room full of sleepers, that's not arrogance, that's assignment. You're seeing clearly because you're meant to break what others couldn't even perceive. Second sign, you've suffered more than most in your family, but it didn't break you the way it broke others. The curse threw everything at you, tested you harder, hit you with loss and pain and betrayal that should have destroyed you completely. And there were moments when you almost went under, moments when you questioned whether you could keep going. But you did. You kept standing, you kept fighting, you kept refusing to accept that this was all life had to offer. That resilience, that stubborn refusal to quit even when every logical reason said you should, that's not just personality, that's preparation. You were being forged in the fire so you'd be strong enough to do what comes next. Third sign, You've been drawn to knowledge about energy, about healing, about breaking cycles. Maybe you don't even know why, but something keeps pulling you toward information about generational trauma, about curses, about spiritual warfare. You read things that others in your family would dismiss as nonsense, and something in you knows its truth. You understand on a level that transcends logic that there are forces at work beyond what most people can see, and you're not afraid to engage with that reality. That curiosity, that openness to understanding the unseen, that's your weapon being sharpened. You're gathering the tools you need to dismantle what was built to destroy you. Fourth sign: people in your family either fear you or they're drawn to you in ways they can't explain. The ones who are still trapped in the curse, they feel threatened by your presence because your energy disrupts the pattern. They'll try to pull you back down, try to make you doubt yourself, try to convince you that you're crazy for seeing what you see. But others, the ones who are ready to be free, even if they don't know it yet, they're magnetically drawn to you. They sense that you carry something different, something that could change everything. And both reactions are confirmation. You're the disruptor. You're the pattern breaker. You're the one who ends this. Now, let's get into the practical reality of how you actually break a generational curse. Because awareness without action is just information. Breaking this curse requires you to operate on multiple levels simultaneously, because the curse itself exists on multiple levels. It's in your bloodline, in your energy field, in your subconscious programming, in the very fabric of your family's collective consciousness. You can't just think positive thoughts and expect centuries of curses to dissolve. You need a strategic, multidimensional approach. And the first step is acknowledgement. You must speak it out loud. Name it. Call it what it is. The curse loses power the moment you stop pretending it doesn't exist. Start by documenting the patterns. Write down every recurring struggle in your family across as many generations as you can trace. Money problems, relationship failures, health issues, mental struggles, premature deaths, lost opportunities. See it all laid out in front of you, so the pattern becomes undeniable. This isn't about dwelling on pain. This is about gathering evidence so you can present your case to the universe itself. You're building a file that says, this is what was done to my bloodline, and I'm here to reverse every bit of it. That documentation becomes a power source, because you're taking what was invisible and making it visible. You're taking what was unnamed and giving it a name. And in that naming, you claim authority over it. Next, you need to understand that breaking the curse requires you to become the opposite of what the curse intended. The curse was designed to keep your family weak, struggling, divided, and limited. So, you must become strong, abundant, unified in your own spirit, and expansive. Every time you choose courage over fear, you're breaking the curse. Every time you choose faith over doubt, you're breaking the curse. Every time you succeed where your ancestors failed, you're breaking the curse. Every time you heal where they stayed wounded, you're breaking the curse. Your very existence, lived in opposition to the curse's intention, becomes the reversal mechanism. You're not just fighting the curse. You're replacing it with its opposite frequency. This is where most people get it wrong. They think breaking a curse is a one-time event, a single ritual or prayer that wipes everything clean. But generational curses are layered, deep, and persistent. Breaking them requires consistent, intentional action over time. You're essentially rewriting your family's energetic code, line by line, choice by choice, day by day. Every morning you wake up and choose to operate from strength instead of victimhood, you're deleting another line of cursed programming. Every time you refuse to repeat the patterns you saw growing up, you're installing new code. Every boundary you set, every toxic pattern you refuse to engage with, every moment you choose your own path over the family's expected limitations. You're building the new foundation that will replace the cursed one. Here's what nobody tells you about breaking generational curses. The moment you start doing the work, everything will try to stop you. Not because the universe is against you, but because the curse itself is fighting for survival. It's been feeding off your family's energy for generations, and it doesn't want to starve. So expect resistance. Expect it from external forces, and expect it from the people closest to you. Family members who should be supporting you will suddenly become your biggest critics. They'll tell you you're changing, that you're not yourself anymore, that you're being selfish or delusional or dramatic. What they're really saying is that your transformation threatens their comfort in the familiar prison of the curse. You'll face financial hits right when you're making progress, unexpected expenses, lost opportunities, situations that seem designed to pull you back into the struggle. The curse knows that poverty has been one of its most effective weapons against your family, so it will try to use that same weapon against you. But here's the difference. You see it coming now. You know it's not random. You know it's the curse throwing everything it has at you to make you quit. And instead of internalizing it, instead of believing you're just unlucky, or that nothing ever works for you, you recognize it as confirmation that you're doing exactly what you're meant to do. The stronger the resistance, the closer you are to breakthrough. You'll face moments of intense doubt, where everything in you questions whether any of this is real, whether you're just making it all up, whether you should just accept life the way everyone else in your family has. Those moments are tests. The curse will use your own mind against you. Will whisper that you're crazy for believing in curses, for thinking you're special enough to break one. It will try to convince you that you're being arrogant, that you should just accept your place, that nothing will ever really change. And in those moments, you have to remember one thing. Every single person who ever broke free from something that had trapped generations before them felt this same doubt. And every single one of them succeeded because they pushed through it anyway. The resistance will also show up in your body. Unexplained exhaustion, illness, pain, in places that make no medical sense. This is energy warfare. When you're breaking a curse, you're literally dismantling an energetic structure, and that process requires energy. Your body is processing not just your own pain, but the unprocessed trauma of everyone who came before you. Honor that. Rest when you need to. Strengthen your physical body, because you need it to be a strong vessel for the work you're doing. Eat well. Move your body. Protect your sleep. This isn't just self-care advice. This is strategic preparation for spiritual warfare. You're in a battle for your bloodline's freedom, and you need to be physically strong enough to sustain the fight. There comes a moment in every curse breaker's journey when the tide turns. You'll know it when it happens. It's not subtle. It's not gradual. It's a distinct shift where you feel in your bones that something fundamental has changed. Suddenly, opportunities that were always blocked start opening. Money that always slipped away starts staying. Relationships that were always complicated start feeling easy. Health that was always a struggle starts improving. It's not that all your problems vanish overnight, but the quality of the struggle changes. You're no longer fighting against an invisible force that's pulling you backward. You're finally moving forward with momentum behind you instead of resistance in front of you. This moment of reversal happens when you've done enough of the internal and external work that the curse can no longer maintain its grip. It's like a dam that's been holding back water for decades, finally cracking under pressure. And when it cracks, everything that was meant to flow to you, everything that was meant to be yours, everything that your ancestors were denied, it all starts flooding into your life at once. This is where some people get scared because they're not used to things going right. They're so conditioned to struggle that success feels foreign, even dangerous. But you have to let it in. You have to allow yourself to receive what's finally flowing to you. This is your inheritance. This is what was stolen from your family, and you're taking it back. The reversal doesn't just affect you. It ripples backward and forward through your entire bloodline. Your ancestors who suffered under this curse, their spirits feel the relief of finally being freed. The burden they carried, the shame they felt, the pain they endured, it's all being healed retroactively through the work you're doing right now. And your descendants, the children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren who haven't even been born yet, they're being set free before they even arrive. They'll never have to carry what you carried. They'll never have to fight what you fought. They'll be born into a clean bloodline, a free lineage, a family legacy that's been washed clean of the poison that almost destroyed it. And that's because of you. You'll start seeing the evidence in real time. Family members who were stuck in destructive patterns will suddenly make different choices without you saying a word to them. Children in your family will show abilities and opportunities that weren't available to previous generations. The collective energy of your family will shift from heavy to light, from closed to open, from cursed to blessed. People outside your family will start noticing something different about you and yours. They won't be able to name it, but they'll feel it. That's the reversal becoming visible in the physical world. What you did in the spiritual realm is now manifesting in material reality, and there's no going back. Once you break the curse, your role doesn't end. You become the guardian of your family's freedom. You become the one who teaches the next generation how to maintain what you've established, how to protect what you've built, how to never allow another curse to take root. This means you have to live differently than everyone around you. You can't engage in the same toxic patterns, the same destructive behaviors, the same limiting beliefs that allowed the curse to thrive in the first place. You have to be the example of what a free person from your bloodline looks like. And that's not always easy, because people will expect you to stay the same, to fit into the old family dynamics, to play the roles you've always played, but you can't. You've been changed by this process. You've seen too much, learned too much, become too much to shrink back into the old you. And that's okay. That's necessary. The old you couldn't break the curse. The old you was still partially bound by it. The new you, the one who's on the other side of this battle, you're operating from a completely different frequency. You're no longer a victim of your family's history. You're the author of your family's future. And everything you do from this point forward is writing a new story, creating a new legacy, establishing a new pattern that will bless instead of curse every generation that comes after you. Living as a curse breaker means you'll be misunderstood. People will judge you for the boundaries you set, for the traditions you refuse to continue, for the dysfunction you refuse to participate in. Let them. Their judgment is just the dying gasp of the old pattern trying to survive. Your freedom threatens the comfort of their chains. But you're not here to make everyone comfortable. You're here to set everyone free, even if they don't want it yet. Some will follow your example eventually. Others never will. And that's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to break the curse for yourself and for those who come after you. What others do with their freedom is between them and their own journey. You'll also discover gifts you didn't know you had. Breaking a generational curse unlocks abilities that were dormant in your bloodline for generations. Intuition becomes stronger. Discernment becomes sharper. Your ability to manifest becomes more powerful. Your presence carries an authority that makes negative energy recoil. These aren't rewards. These are tools that were always meant to be yours, but couldn't fully activate while the curse was still in place. Now that you've cleared the blockage, everything flows differently. Use these gifts wisely. Use them to protect your family. Use them to help others who are fighting their own generational battles. You've been given these abilities not just for yourself, but for everyone whose path will cross yours. Let's talk about what you're actually creating here, because it's bigger than you realize. You're not just improving your own life, or even just helping your immediate family. You're altering the entire trajectory of your bloodline for centuries to come. Every person born into your family from this point forward will inherit freedom instead of bondage. They'll inherit strength instead of weakness. They'll inherit possibility instead of limitation. They won't even know your name in a few generations, but they'll live in the reality you created for them. They'll achieve things that would have been impossible under the curse. They'll love freely, build successfully, live fully. And it's all because you refuse to accept what was handed to you. Think about the ancestors who came before you. The ones who suffered under this curse without knowing what it was or how to break it. They prayed for someone like you. They hoped that one day someone in the bloodline would be strong enough, aware enough, brave enough to end what they couldn't end. You are the answer to their prayers. You are the one they were waiting for. And now that you've done the work, now that you've broken the curse, their spirits are finally at peace. The generational trauma stops with you. The cycle of pain ends with you. The pattern of limitation is destroyed by you. You are the hinge point in your family's entire history, the moment everything changed, from cursed to blessed. Your children and their children will grow up not knowing what it's like to fight against invisible forces that seem determined to keep them down. They'll set goals and actually achieve them. They'll dream dreams and watch them manifest. They'll build wealth and watch it multiply. They'll create relationships that thrive instead of crash. They'll live in health instead of sickness. They'll experience joy instead of perpetual struggle. And when they face challenges, because life will always have challenges, they'll face them from a position of strength instead of starting from a place of already being weakened by generational bondage. That's the gift you're giving them. That's the legacy you're creating. But the legacy extends beyond your family. Every curse you break weakens the power of curses everywhere. Every chain you destroy makes it easier for the next person to break their chains. You're not just fighting your own battle. You're fighting for every person who's been trapped by generational bondage, who's been limited by ancestral trauma, who's been held back by forces they didn't even know existed. Your victory is their hope. Your freedom is their blueprint. Your success is their proof that it can be done. So when you feel tired, when you wonder if it's worth it, when you're tempted to give up, remember, you're not just doing this for yourself. You're doing it for every chosen one who's watching, who's learning, who's gathering the courage to break their own curse because they saw you do it first. Chosen one, this is your moment. Everything in your life has been leading to this. Every struggle prepared you. Every loss strengthened you. Every betrayal taught you. Every moment of suffering was building the warrior you needed to become to do what you're about to do. The curse that's been plaguing your family for generations, its time is up. Not because time ran out, but because you showed up. You're the one who sees it, the one who names it, the one who has the courage and the strength and the determination to break it forever. Stop waiting for permission. Stop looking for validation from people who can't even see what you see. Stop doubting whether you're really the one chosen to do this. You are. The proof is in your persistence. The proof is in your refusal to accept what everyone else accepted. The proof is in the fact that you're still standing after everything that was designed to break you. You're still here. You're still fighting. You're still believing that freedom is possible. And that belief, that stubborn, relentless, unshakable belief, that's the force that breaks every curse that's ever been spoken over your bloodline. The work starts now, not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Not when circumstances are perfect. Now, right now, in this moment, make the decision that the curse ends with you. Speak it out loud. Write it down. Declare it with every bit of authority in your being. Tell the universe. Tell your ancestors. Tell your descendants. Tell every force that's ever worked against your family that you are the curse breaker, and you're taking back everything that was stolen. Your family's peace, your family's prosperity, your family's joy, your family's freedom. All of it. You're reclaiming all of it. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop you now. This is your calling. This is your purpose. This is why you were born into this specific family at this specific time. You're not here by accident. You're here by design. The curse thought it had won, thought it would continue forever, thought there would never be anyone strong enough to break it. But it was wrong, because it never counted on you. It never prepared for the one who would refuse to be broken, who would learn what needed to be learned, who would do what needed to be done. You are that one, and your time is now. Break the curse. Free your bloodline. Create the legacy. The power was always yours. Now go claim it.